Alright, so right now we are working on getting an exhaust. It's got a header on it right now on the motor, but we're working on getting a downpipe on there. I tried to fit that one, which is the that's the factory Z24 one that came off the 720. It's not a KA1. Tried to fit it onto that header. Didn't look like it was going to fit, so we're going to pull that header off and just see what we can do. Either use that header with that one to see if they fit, or use the 721. We're going to see. So I'm going to work on getting that pulled off, and then we'll see what we can finagle around and get going. So hopefully something works out. This sun is brutal. Son of a bitch. That's the worst shit ever. Double whammy. Let's see if I can not do it again. That easy. Alright. Let's see what we can do with this. Gasket's good, gasket's good. That's a nice sight. Just leave that on there. Alright. So seems to me that they look fairly similar. That's the flange on the 720, and that's a good shot of the flange on the KA. So I guess that's Z motor, it's KA motor. So alright, so we're gonna see what we're worried about here is the downpipe. So this is the Z. This is the Z header here, and this is the KA24 header. That does not look like it's gonna work. Let's go grab that downpipe and see the difference. Because we might end up having to use this header. Okay, so here, this is a 720 Z24 downpipe. And this is the manifold that it came off of. I pulled it off of it last night. So see, it bolts up there. Everything's good, goes on. So that's how that's supposed to go. So let's see if it will go on to our KA24. No, it will not. So I think what we're gonna have to do, lay that there. I think we're going to have to use 720, the factory header, instead of the factory hard body header. Right now we'll see if so they look a tiny bit smaller, but I believe the flanges are exactly the same. That's what we're hoping for. So we'll try to pull this gasket off without destroying it. Oh, son of a bitch. I've got a scraper somewhere. I'll set this down. Shit. Here we go. Alright, there's that. I'm gonna hope that we can reuse that. I think if I put some sealant on there, I can take care of that. Just have to crank down on those to get them to seal. So here is the hard body one. Let's try it onto here. Bam! So that doesn't really look too promising. Shit. Let's go see on the head how much this needs. Yeah, so it needs as much as that as it can get. It takes up that whole thing pretty much. So if we use that 721, it is not going to be happy. But see, strangely enough, so this is for a 720, but I thought this was for the hard body. Where's the downpipe? There it is. So this fits on here, mostly. How much more of that do I need? I could try to wallow those holes out or something, or weld a washer on there, but it's so much smaller. I really don't want to have to do that. Alright everybody, so turns out, so did a little bit of thinking. This is the factory Z24 header. It is not going to work at all with the head design, because see, this is the KA24E exhaust port, and see it's a complete circle, round, it's a lot bigger. And this one is square, it's a lot smaller, so if I hold the gasket up to it, right here, so the flange bolt pattern is exactly the same, so that's what made me believe I could use it, but you see that would be a huge restriction, so not going to do that. And another idea I had was maybe cutting the downpipe flange off of this and cutting this one off and welding it onto here, but as everybody might know, welding cast is an absolute biatch. Also, those are not exactly the same size either. This one looks like it should take a donut, kind of a graphite gasket, and then this one obviously had a flat one like that. So what we're going to do, because in the future I don't plan on keeping this forever. I'd like to, if I can get my hands on some stainless and a couple of stainless flanges, I'll eventually just make my own stainless equal length header and not worry about any of, you know, the cast or any of the factory shenanigans like that. I think right now, in my scrap bin, we are going to, in my scrap I found this, I'm not really sure what size it is. It's probably 2-inch, I think. Just conduit. I know, piece of shit, fence post metal, galvanized. But we are going to just grind it a little bit, give it a bevel so it goes down in that hole a little bit, and just make a 2-to-1 and just integrate the downpipe into the header. And then that way it'll make it easier. I can just grab a clamp and clamp another half of the exhaust on. And it'll just be a real short side exit exhaust with like either a cherry bomb, or maybe you might even use one of these old mufflers that I pulled off of my Mustang. We'll see. We'll see what fits. So I'm going to do that. And we'll get an update with the progress pretty soon. That didn't work. We're just gonna cut them. Okay, so alright, just got the flange all cleaned up. It looks pretty good. We'll see. I tried to add a little bit more of a bevel on that with that flat disc, but I don't think it's really going to help a whole lot until I bevel the actual pipe. We'll see about that. So now the next step is to go ahead and design how I'm going to do the 2-to-1 part on that other pipe, and then have a little bit extra down to have something to clamp to for the rest of it. So then once I can do that, once I get that figured out and tacked together, then I can go and mock it on the truck and see if it clears the torsion bar and the frame rail and everything like that, and then it exits where I want it to be and it's not too low. So I'll go ahead and get started on that, and here's sped up footage. Sorry if that footage seemed a little bit short, or if it wasn't the whole thing. The battery died right in the middle of filming it. So got a couple of shitty tacks on there, whatever, just enough to hold it on. So those look pretty good, pretty flat, even. And they're pretty square all the way around. So now I'm going to work on the angular bits, and one will go here and one will go here, and they'll basically merge into one. And then that'll go down and angle and whatever, and go on to the rest of the exhaust. So yeah, I think it'll work pretty good. So I'll get to work on cutting those, and then we'll get them tacked on, and then get them down to 1, and then we'll go test fit on the truck. So we'll see. so did that cutting, got the tubes cut up. So now we have 2 of these bits, so they go like that, and they'll go into each other. I cut that at a 15-degree angle, and then I kind of like guesstimated like 5 inches out about, and then just cut that just to give myself enough length to where I can have them meet, and then I'll cut this straight through with the cutoff wheel. I'll cut it right around here, straight up, and try to make them meet and kind of have like a gooch thing right in the middle where they'll meet. Yeah, they fit pretty good. So now really just the hard part is figuring out how to get them to go into one, and then I need a 1 off of it. So that is the next hard part. But probably by the time I get these cut and tacked on here and they get them tacked together, we'll go and test fit it on the truck to see how it fits there, to see if it needs to be clearanced one way or the other, just to make sure I'm not screwing anything up, because I don't want to have the whole thing welded together and then have to cut it back apart because it doesn't fit or hammer it, you know what I mean? So that'd be kind of dumb. So we'll get to working on that, and we'll see how it comes. Alright, so I just got those marked up. I kind of did 2 marks. The outside ones are kind of like the first ones, those are what I marked, but I went ahead and did a second one further in, just like kind of freehanded it a little bit, but got it as straight as I could, just so I had a starting point, so I don't like just hog it out and then have to start from new. But it kind of does that. But my basis, what I used was I tried to hold that piece of angle iron up, this one here, tried to hold it flat to the flange and then hold it straight up, and held it over to where it lined up with this, and then I pretty much tried to mark. If you can see, it's kind of straight up from it, not really. We'll just kind of see how that goes, and just do what I need to do to get that to fit. But yeah, I did that on both pieces. Did it on this one too. This one came out a little bit not so good. But yeah, I'm gonna start on that middle mark. I'm gonna cut on the inside of it, and just see where that leads me. See if that gets me close, and I'll just grind it, you know, more and more as I need to try to get it to lay flat on this and get the gap in between them as close as possible. I will be MIG welding it, so if there's a little bit of a gap, it's not that big of a deal. But we'll just see how it turns out. You always want as tight as you can get. So if I can get it good, then I'll get it good. But we'll see.
Boy. Love you, boy.
What? Alright, so a little bit of time has passed. Did some stuff, ate some food. But been working a little bit on this. Here's what I've got so far. So the fitment up here is pretty good. I'm pretty satisfied with that. Tiny bit of overlap, but that's whatever. None of that really matters. At least for what I'm doing right now. I'll have to take a little piece. There were some pieces that I cut off, something like this. And we'll have to kind of stick it in there. That might not be big enough, but I might be able to cut a piece. I'll have to fill that in with a flat piece and kind of make a plate that goes over there and wraps under, just to weld that up, just because I cut that a little bit, you know, too wide. But that's no issue there. But I mean, it looks pretty good. The fit up's close enough to weld. So I might get this tacked together up here and tack it down here just so I can work on this without having to worry about knocking it off. So I think that's it on this so far. So I'll keep moving on it. Well, shit. Alright, so here is where we are now. I think it's coming out pretty good. You know, well, as good as it's gonna get. Have to fill that shit in there. But I think the way how I was trying to weld in there a little bit, just to see if I could get it to connect, because that was the main thing I was worried about, straight in there. Here, I'll pull a light out and see if you can see. What I'm worried about is, you could probably see it down in there, that light right in the middle. That's what I'm worried about, is it's sealing right there. So what we are going to do what I'm going to try to do is just weld this completely up here, because I think it won't be too hard, but go ahead and weld it all the way up through there, and then that will guarantee, even though they're not connected, that will guarantee a seal all the way through there, and so it won't have any leaks in between here, between where these two pieces kind of meet like this. But yeah, before I get it all welded together, I'm gonna go test fit it on the truck, and we will see how she fits and what else I need to add, what direction it needs to go. So we'll cut out there. Alright, so we went ahead and got the truck pulled off the trailer and got it in the carport, and I pulled the hood off, so now I can actually see some shit. But let's see how it fits. This is the first time I've tried it on here. Oh shit. Let me pull these nuts off really quick. Alright, got all those nuts off. Now we are ready to test fit her. Let's hope she doesn't hit anything. There she goes. So, issue right off the bat. It's hitting the transmission. That sucks. So, what I might have to do is I might have to probably maybe weld it up and bash it, or what I might be able to do is cut those tacks off and angle it a little bit differently, because I'm worried about that torsion bar. So we'll see how that goes. Alright everybody, so update on the downpipe. So I broke the tacks off and grinded one side a little bit, gave it a little bit of an angle, and it seems like it's not hitting, if you can see down there, it's not hitting transmission anymore, and I got it fully tightened down, so that might have been the issue too. I don't think I was holding it right. Doesn't hit the transmission, but we are gonna have to, it's gonna be a little bit tight. I'm gonna have to do a couple of pie cuts. It's got an angle, if you can see it, it's got to come towards this this clutch cable here, whatever the hell this is actually. I'm not sure what that is. I think it's a handbrake cable, but it's got to come, it's got to go down and left basically. It can't fit in between the, that's the torsion bar right there, that rod in the middle, and that's the frame. It's got to go between the transmission and the torsion bar. That's where it goes factory. And it's already pointed towards the right, so I might have to do like 2 pie cuts to try to get it to curve back that other way. 2 pie cuts and a straight bit. And I think I might be able to clock it to where it will angle and it won't be too steep of a curve. Because I mean, I could just do a 45 and it'd be easy peasy, but on the downside, that is just too much of an angle and it would be a little bit of a restriction. Not too much, I mean, for a stock motor, and it's already bigger exhaust than what was factory. But, you know, don't want to have to do it again until I get the actual exhaust that I want on it. I'll go make a couple pie cuts, maybe get them tacked on or clocked how I think they need to be, and I will be back out here to see how it fits.